speaking of RGNs, I've been busy researching these trailers last week probably. I don't know, I could hardly sleep because I found a financial company that can buy trailers from US and then lease them to Canadians. They said they cannot work with all US dealers, but they still can, you know, I guess maybe like major ones or anything, but I mean, they just want to see the application, you know, like the specs of the trailer, what is it, and who you want to buy it from. And you know, it's so hard to decide with all these options because you look at these RGN, you know, heavy haul lowboy trailers, and the options are endless. You know, there's I learned all these brands, so now I can just, you wake me in the middle of the night and ask me what models are available from Talbot, like what capacities, for example, or what trailers does Fontaine make for Canada, or you know, there's Fontaine, Talbot, there's Kaufman, and it seems to be pretty cheap, but you know, they advertise everywhere. You can buy directly from the plant. There's Etnire, there's Excel, there's Trail King. And Trail King and Talbot are probably like the more expensive ones. And then there's Eager Beaver, which I think would be probably a good trailer to have for a Canadian. But you know, they're just, I think they're too heavy. Like, that's the problem. Like, some of these trailers, you know, you look at the weight, or if the weight is not listed, you ask the salesman, you know, tell you the empty weight, because I want to be somewhere around 18,000 on this heavy haul trailer. That's just the empty weight, you know, and that's even at 18,000, it's kind of hard to find a trailer for big loads, let's say 50-ton capacity, that weighs that low, believe it or not. But even at 18, I'm about 7,000 over the weight of my current trailer. So that means that instead of 48,500, I can only do 41,500, and then I would need a permit because I'll be over the legal 80,000 gross in Canada, in US and Canada. No, in Canada it's not. In Canada you can haul more, but in US. So anyway, so I was looking for something, and I was driving all these dealers crazy because, you know, I wasn't sure myself what I wanted. Because everybody says, oh, you know, if you want to get into this, you want the 55-ton. And I'm saying, wait a second. Why do I need a 55-ton trailer? Because they weigh much more than 18,000 pounds. They're like 22.5, like 22,500 pounds, you know, empty trailer. But of course, it's a 55-ton. You can haul 100,000 pounds in, let's say, 12 feet of space, or 110,000 in the entire trailer, you know. But for now, you know, I've been spending a lot of time on the Landstar load board, you know, just looking what pays good money, like what kind of RGN lowboy trailers are required, and I see that it's pretty much not practical to get a trailer for anything over 80,000 pounds, because I have a regular trailer, right? The 3 axles, I mean regular truck. And I was thinking of getting a lift axle, like a 4-axle truck, but just this morning after I talked with this Ontario MTO guy, he said it does not matter whether you're talking about trailers or trucks. Lift axles, like the traditional ones, are not allowed. So the only lift axle they do allow if it's a self-steer axle, and that's what you see now in Ontario, for example. You see a single tire, like an axle with a single big tire on each side, so maybe rated for like 20,000 pounds, and it self-steers. And the trick is the switch, I think, must be outside of the cab. So basically they don't want the driver to lift that axle when he, you know, cornering or something. Oh, wait a second. I think that was the rule for the old ones. The old ones, like the regular lift axle, still work, I think, till like 2015 in Canada, in Ontario. But that's what they're switching to, and basically now I was thinking of getting this expensive heavy haul truck. Now I'm seeing that you still have only 6 axles to play with, you know, like, so even though your trailer is rated, let's say, for 200 tons, you know, if you only have 6 axles, 3 on the truck and 3 on the trailer, like, what good will that rating do to you, you know? And that's what these salespeople, they don't understand, you know. Oh no, you need a 55 ton. Oh really? Fuck you, basically, you know, because a 55 ton, that's like I said, they're very, very heavy weight. And then if you want to go into like a serious brand, like what I found, like Talbot or Trail King, or you know, like heavy XL, they will, even in the States where they're cheaper than in Canada, they're like $65,000, $70,000, you know. So forget it. So you have to be realistic. Of course, later on, you know, if I get rich doing this, I can always get one of those boosters or stingers or jeeps or whatever, you know, like it's extra axles with their own little handle, kind of like a toy that kids pull, and you insert it either between the truck and the trailer, which gives you additional axles. I think that's called jeep. Or you can get a stinger, I think, which looks like a long, big handle with an axle, and you put that behind the trailer. So, you know, that's the options. Then, of course, you can put more on the trailer. But, you know, those things are not cheap, let me tell you. If a flip axle, like I said in my previous video, if a flip axle for the trailer sells for like 12,000, 14,000 bucks, imagine what that stinger costs. So, you know, and with 3 axles on the trailer, and what I'm seeing on the Landstyle load board, it's pretty much probably even less than 70,000, because I'm thinking even, let's say, excavator that's 77,000, I won't be able to do it with a 3-axle trailer, you know. And 80,000, that's just 40 tons. Let's say 40 tons payload or 40 tons concentrated weight, so that means that the rating for the whole trailer should be, of course, a bit more, let's say 45 tons or 90,000 pounds, you know. But very few manufacturers offer anything between 35 and 50, you know, like you can get a lowboy rated for 35 tons, and then the next step up is 50 or 52, unless it's an XL. XL has them in all kind of capacities, but they're kind of hard to get. You have to wait a whole bunch of years, you know, till you have the factory making one. So I was leaning towards PITS, P-I-T-T-S, PITS, starts with a P as in Peter, because their trailers are pretty cheap. You can customize them, you know. And as Canadian, I don't pay FET, so I can get a 52-ton PITS with about 25 feet in the well, 3 axle, 60-inch spacing, because I need that for Canada. Gives you more weight, more allowable weight. You can get that for something like 52,000 bucks. Whereas in Canada, those kind of trailers, they cost a whole bunch more. And but one guy, I talked to one guy, I said, how come your Talbot cost like 65,000 bucks, 50 ton? I said, I found a PITS for 52, and he says, oh, that's an entry-level trailer. I mean, what are you talking about? What's entry-level about a 50-ton trailer? It's still a 50-ton trailer, right? Or you can even go to a 55-ton with PITS, but then of course it's more money, but still it's only a couple of $1,000 bucks more. Just that I don't want them because they're heavier. They're probably like 2,000 pounds heavier than 52-ton, you know. But you listen to some of these salespeople, and you know they really cannot be civil about the competition, and I don't like that. Like one guy actually almost started screaming at me because he spec'd the trailer for 40 tons, and I think I told him I think I need something, you know, heavier, because 40 tons is just the payload that I'm shooting for. So he does a trailer, he does a spec from XL for 40 tons, and then he does a spec for Talbot, like mechanical detached 40 tons, and I call him up and I say, you know, I don't think that's enough. And he's like, oh my God, we're working here around the clock for you, and you cannot keep changing the specs all the time, you know. like, you're salespeople, you know? Like, you're supposed to help me choose what's best, but all you do is just tell me that I need a 55-ton trailer. I mean, and one guy actually said, so what are you going to haul? I told him, okay, here's the typical load, and I actually described to him what I want to, you know, haul. I think I told him about a loader, like, you know, John Deere loader. Like, I gave him the size, the weight. I think it was like 70,000 pounds. And I said, that's pretty typical. Anywhere between legal, let's say 45,000 to, let's say, 80,000 pounds. That's what I want to haul. Oh, you need a 55-ton. So then, of course, they are frustrated because I'm driving them crazy because they don't provide any recommendations. And in case any salespeople watch this, please remember, we're not paying you for products. If you want to be a good salesperson, you must sell solutions to the problems, right? So everybody has problems. My particular problem was I couldn't find the trailer that's light enough and cheap enough for the job I wanted. And instead of helping me with a solution, these guys were trying to push on me the products, the trailers they already have in stock. You know, before Christmas, they were trying to get rid of some inventory. And, oh, I have this 55-ton sitting, you know. I'm telling you, like, each time I hear that 55-ton phrase, I start laughing. So, thanks for watching.